Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So glad you could join me again for another of our Torah studies together. As you can see, might look a little bit disheveled. I just have like a t-shirt on with the Game of Thrones, and my hair is kind of a mess. I have a haircut this weekend, and hopefully because my hair is usually not this long. But that's what it is, and so just forgive that. And Judaism is not a performance, so I am what I am. And I hope that you can follow along. Nonetheless, of course we can. What am I saying? Anyway, to begin, we take our news, we put it off to the side, and I'm going to take my kippah. I'm going to choose this one. Some Star Wars stuff on it. Yeah, there we go. All right. But yeah, I'm getting a haircut this weekend. Things are starting to reopen. I think it's important that even though we may still be nervous about the pandemic and we should still be worried, it's still happening, I'm still worried, but we have to balance that worry with doing things and getting our life back together. You can't be afraid so much that you do nothing. So I hope that over the next couple of weeks you are able to figure out ways that you can responsibly start to put your life back into where it was before we were in quarantine, because otherwise you could be stuck at home for much longer than you need to, and I don't think you'd really feel good about that. Anyway, here's our Tanakh. It contains Torah in it. We will say the prayer over study of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher Kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us all with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Cool. So, we are reading the Torah portion that is Numbers chapter 17. It's actually, Numbers chapter 12. It's actually my girlfriend's Torah portion for her bat mitzvah. And here it is. Okay, so the main characters in this portion are going to be Moses and Aaron and Miriam. And we all know who they are. Moses is the main prophet. Miriam's another prophet. And then Aaron is their brother, and he's the high priest. They are all siblings, but they don't always get along, and this is a stunning example of the ways that they don't get along. It's not your usual kind of sibling rivalry. So, Aaron and Miriam spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman he had married. Look, he has married a Cushite woman, they said. And then God overhears this and gets really upset and comes down to the three of them. And when God comes down, the Torah says that it's like a cloud coming down. So God comes down, reprimands them, yells at them, says that they shouldn't have said that about Moses' wife. And then, as the cloud, so remember that's God, as the cloud withdrew, there was Miriam stricken with snow-white scales. And Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, "Oh God, pray heal her." So what's going on? Moses' siblings come to him and they insult him. They say Cushite wife, but basically think of it as non-Israelite. It's a foreign wife. And they're asking, why have you married this foreign woman rather than marrying, one of the Israelites? And so God gets really upset about this, comes down, punishes Miriam. It's not clear why God doesn't also punish Aaron, but that's not really what we're going to dig into right now. But God punishes Miriam and gives her a snow white scale that turns her skin white. It's leprosy, if you know what that is. It's ta'arat in Hebrew. And so Moses realizes what has happened to Miriam and prays to God to heal her. Yeah. And so there's a bunch of stuff going on here, but I think in the Torah, it's very stunning to have Miriam, who's one of the top 5 women in the Torah that everyone knows about, Basically, she and Aaron are racist. They're saying to Moses's wife, or they're saying to Moses rather, that your wife isn't the right race, and we're upset that she's Cushite because she should have been Israelite. And racism isn't really something that we think of as being something that the ancient Jews used to do. And indeed, it's not what they used to do, because in the story, again, God comes down and punishes Miriam, again, not Aaron for some reason, punishes Miriam for saying that. The connections to now are very obvious. I'm always amazed when I read the Torah and it connects to what's going on now. Even, I always find that very, very stunning. I'm speechless from it, as you can see, as someone who talks a lot and usually isn't speechless. It's something that always kind of surprises me and amazes me. So, I mean, the lesson is not don't be racist. That's really, really obvious. But, so God and Moses take different points of view. God's point of view is, I'm going to punish Miriam for doing this. And Moses realizes that his sister is being punished for what she said, and his reaction is not to say, that'll teach you not to make fun of my wife and to leave her alone. But actually Moses says, oh, that's bad. God, would you please heal Miriam? I don't want her to be sick over this. Racism is a terrible thing, and we don't want people who are racist really involved in our lives. But if there is someone who you've grown close to, either a friend, a coworker, a family member, a housemate who is racist and says those things, there's room for punishment. There's room to say, we don't want this. This is not acceptable in our community. We're going to exclude you. We're gonna push you out. We're going to tell you that you're wrong. But we also need to make room for those people to learn from their past mistakes and to become part of the community again. Something that I didn't read, that now that I think about it, probably should have, but too late. So Miriam gets healed by the next chapter. That's why the way Miriam gets healed is that she leaves the camp for 7 days, and then she comes back. And that's the usual way that they deal with leprosy back then, was that if you got it, you left the camp for 7 days, and then you were healed, and you came back. Kind of like a quarantine. Except it was 7 days instead of 14 days, 2 weeks. Whatever. Again, this is all mixed together very, very interestingly. I'm always amazed by that. I hope you're kind of filled with wonder with that as well. But so Miriam comes back, and this issue doesn't come up again. So I think that we need to find some kind of opportunity to allow people who do learn and do take responsibility for what they've done in the past, for not making space for people of color, for not taking their struggles seriously, for not listening to other people, and for insisting that their view of things is the only correct way, and that other views are not things that they're not going to take other people's points of view. If people learn from that and stop being racist, and in fact start being anti-racist and start speaking up and fighting back against the systematic racism that exists, then we need to have room for us to say, okay, you've started to do the right thing, and we're not going to hold against you what you did in the past, because now you have a better future ahead of you, and we want to support that. Obviously, every case is different, so there's no point in really digging down into the details too much. I don't know what your situation is. If you know someone like this, you're struggling to figure out how to relate to them, but of course, feel free to reach out to me or someone else who you know about it, and I'm sure we'll be able to help you come up with some kind of plan that makes you comfortable, because it can be hard to cut people out of our lives, but it can also be hard to know how to help them get on the right path. So, that's today's lesson. Instead of playing Debbie Friedman's Misha Berach, because we've been listening to that for months now, I'm going to sing a version of the prayer that Moses says to God to heal Miriam. It's a song that I really like. I tried to find a recording of it on YouTube, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to sing this. My singing voice is not that great, but as I said at the start of this, Judaism isn't a performance. It's just me being me and you being you. And so I'm gonna do my best. And I hope that take this time to think about anything that have been bothering you. It's a good time to reflect, either about what the Torah portion was saying, or about anything else going on in your life that might be stressing you out. It takes a few moments to just kind of sit with it and let it go. So here we go. Oh, I'm very nervous, but I'm going to do it anyway. And Moses cried, "Heal Miriam, heal Miriam, this I pray." And Moses cried, "Heal Miriam, heal Miriam, this I pray." All right. Thank you again for joining me. If you have any questions about this or anything else, feel free to reach out to me at the Jewish Life email address. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all next week for another Shabbat. Take care. Shabbat Shalom.